Hey Jeff, this is my proposal for what I'd like to do with the APC pipeline of how we're going to be developing future staff members and really taking the people that we have on our team and helping them to move to the next level of leadership within our organization as well as sending them to other organizations and other ministries. So let's start with the purpose of the APC pipeline. I think we have three primary purposes that I'd like to accomplish. Number one, I want to essentially equip people for ministry and for us to really be an Ephesians 4 church that's equipping people to do the work that God has called them to do. Second thing I'd like to do is create a leadership pipeline within APC so that we're able to quickly fill all the ministry positions that we have coming available, from volunteers all the way through staff members. And then I think the third thing is to fulfill the apostolic calling that we have as a church to be a sending organization. So in order for us to be able to send people, we have to constantly have a stream of people that we're developing through our pipeline. I think there's four primary steps that I see us really pursuing within this proposal. The first step is taking our existing ministry volunteers and team members or young people in the Red ministry and sending them to NMS. We want to constantly have a feeder system to get people involved with the ministry school with NMS. After somebody is signed up with NMS, I think we'd like to really get them involved with an internship program. So I'm looking to launch not just isolated internships with one or two ministries, but I'd like to launch a full internship program where NMS students that are involved with the school can get linked to a pastor and serve in their ministry and be mentored during that time. And then the third piece would be taking people who've completed NMS and giving them a second year option to participate with a residency where they're getting more hands-on training and getting additional experience. One of the challenges that we have right now is many of our NMS graduates are 19 years old and they're not ready to step into a full position. So I think we need an interim step, and the residency would allow us to do that. And then the final step would be taking people that are completing the residency and giving them the opportunity to join the ministry staff. So that would be our primary way of filling entry-level positions when we have them available, taking our residents and getting them plugged in to be involved. So let's take a look at, first of all, the internship. What I think the primary purposes of the internship would be to create an opportunity for NMS students that feel a call to a specific area of ministry to give them that hands-on experience. So somebody that wants to do youth ministry would get directly involved with Kids Zone or youth ministry with Red, and so on and so on. I think this also, if we were able to move in this direction, it's going to allow us to fill important leadership and director roles within our organization. Those roles are typically being filled by volunteers, but it's going to get us high capacity people that have a strong interest in getting involved and learning and developing their leadership. And then we also just begin to develop people that have that call to ministry on their lives. Pretty clear purpose there. How we would make that happen, here's the process. I'd like to begin offering scholarships to anybody that does an internship from a range of $500 up through $1,600, which is half of their NMS tuition. I would want to fund that through each one of the ministry budgets. So if I have a children's ministry intern, I would figure out a way to fund that through my budgets. Youth ministry, same way, worship ministry. And we would be able to offer these scholarships as an incentive to get people involved. And I also think we could generate some of the funding by, rather than giving people staff positions, we would give those positions to interns. So positions like upward game day coordinators, even worship leaders that we need to stipend, the tech directors, or the outreach coordinator roles, the middle school position where we're trying to find somebody to just be that MC for Josh on the weekends. I'd love to, rather than investing money to pay a staff member, use that same money to be able to fund scholarships, get somebody that's going to give a higher level of commitment, and it also gives us the ability to develop somebody, not just accomplish one simple program or task, but we develop them through that. So using those staffing roles to give interns new opportunities. I'd love to be able to create an application and acceptance process for the interns that would funnel through me, the NMS staff, as well as the people that would be overseeing them. I think the ministry departments that we would be able to offer internships could be children's ministry, youth ministry, young adults, pastoral ministry, worship production, and even campus ministry, depending on where somebody wants to get involved. I think we have plenty of people that would be able to mentor them in those particular areas. And the expectations of an intern would be that they would fulfill everything required of NMS, as well as do the job that we define for them. And I think as a minimum requirement, we would want them at least working 15 hours a week, all the way up through 25 hours a week. Once somebody completes NMS, would love to give them this opportunity to do the second year residency. I know we started this in some form, but it never really took off. The primary purposes of the residency is to create a strong bench of people that are ready to immediately step in as soon as we have a position available. I also want to be able to connect with young up-and-coming leaders, people that want to get involved, and hook them with strategic mentors that are going to help them get to the next phase of their growth. And then I also want to be able to release people. We constantly have phone calls that either come to me or to Samuel. I'm sure you get a lot of them, people saying, hey, do you have anybody that's able to serve as a children's pastor or as a worship leader? If we have this residency, I'd love to see that grow to where we constantly have people that are ready for an open position. The strategy of how I see this working, I'd like to begin to promote this residency to the current NMS class as early as January, and I'd like to begin to work with several of our pastors on staff to get them to recruit people to join them next year for the residency. I think we have a lot of people that would be willing to do that. The residency doesn't have to be a full-time commitment. I don't think it actually costs us anything. But what I'd like to do is I'd like the residents to commit to at least 15 hours a week so that they can still work their secular job, whether that's full-time or part-time, but link up with us and be very involved with the ministries and commit to an entire school year. I'd like the residents to be involved from September through May. So they're committing 9 months to us, basically as the second year of their schooling after they complete NMS. How we would develop these residents, each resident would be, they'd be placed in a leadership role, not just in a role where they're completing tasks, but they would be overseeing a team of people, and they would have coordinator or director responsibilities. They would have a weekly meeting with their supervisor, their mentor, whoever we would assign them to, and there would be regular trainings from that particular person in the field of ministry that they want to study. We'd also have a reading plan where each one of the residents were reading an assigned book every single month. And I would set up a monthly training where I gather all of the residents from every department, and either I would teach it or I'd bring someone in to do a monthly training that is taught by somebody who is a specialist in a particular area, just so they have ongoing mentorship and outside voices that are going to help them to develop. I would also create a mentor accountability process. One of the things that I think was a hole in the past is we had people that were working with residents, but there was no process to bring everyone together. So everybody that's overseeing a resident, I would like to gather them together on a monthly basis to make sure that everybody is accountable to the expectations that we have with a residency, and I would also give them some training on how to lead a resident on a monthly basis. And then the goal would be at the end of a residency, after somebody completes at least 1 year, that we would have some opportunities to send them to, whether that be in our organization or outside of our organization. We obviously wouldn't be able to promise anybody a position, but we'd at least have the option to give them some opportunities and allow them to apply, and we would be filling that pipeline so that we have some people waiting in the wings when we have positions that come available. This is the list of all the key books that I'd like to have them read. 5 Levels of Leadership, Volunteer Revolution, Blessed Life, Power of TED, Simple Church, Leadership Pain, Leading Change, Anatomy of Peace, and 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That would take them through the 9 months that they would be involved. The people that I would see leading interns and residents, I think we have lots of options. Anyone wanting to do children's ministry could get involved with both me and Sarah. Youth ministry, Josh and Dave, and then production would be involved with Brendan. Worship, this is negotiable, but whether that's Kyler or Josh or Brendan, whoever's leading that department when we get to this point. Young adults with Kyler. Pastoral ministries, I thought Bill could be involved with that. Anyone that wants to stick around with NMS could be involved with Samuel. And then campus ministry could be any of our campus pastors. So I'd love to be able to launch this and really begin to promote this. Want to get your feedback and thoughts on this. My goal for this upcoming year is I'd like to have 50 people in our APC pipeline. So I want to have a constant group of juniors and seniors in high school that I would like to feed into the ministry school. Love to have 10 people involved with that. Our goal is to have 35 ministry school students this coming year. I'd like for 8 of them to do internships at in some area of ministry, and I'd also like to have 5 of our current NMS students participate with some level of residency next year after they graduate. What that does is it gives us 50 total people within our pipeline that we're working on and developing. This is my goal for the 2018 and 19 school year. Love for this to be able to grow beyond that, but I think these are some good goals to get us started and get us moving in the right direction. Love to hear your feedback on this.